mask on. What the fuck?
What? Like you can catch some shit over the internet. Hush, G. Hush.
Well, on that note, welcome to the threesome, y'all. This is the podcast where the three of us try to talk about at least 3 topics each week. And the three of us, of course, are our point person and optimistic realist who may or may not be contagious over the internet. Her name is Star. And the center of our threesome and our voice of reason, who is probably going to be megadosing vitamins for absolutely no reason. We call him Magic.
Feeling real healthy right now.
And bringing up the rear as always, I identify as the pragmatic contrarian, and I'm trying to get it together this week. And they call me Storm. So, where we want to start this week, y'all?
Forgiveness. Let's start there. First, let's put a disclaimer out there. I am not contagious. I have allergies. I have terrible allergies. I get them in the spring and I get them in the fall. There are other illnesses out there and issues out there besides COVID.
Yes,
I just wanted to put that out there.
Yes, dear.
Other things that make you sneeze, cough.
Yes, dear. You also protest too much. Anyway.
Whatever. I am making my case. It's not protest too much.
So yeah, forgiveness is something that I personally struggle with. And, I know I often joke about how, I'm working on myself, but I do be working on myself, y'all. And this week it has come to my attention that I could I could definitely be a lot better at forgiveness. What about y'all?
Did I mention I'm in the middle of a divorce?
Yes. Well, and that's where it started, actually. I was having a conversation with somebody about infidelity in marriage. And they were saying...
These hoes ain't loyal? Oh, go ahead.
No. Hoes being the men, of course. But anyway, so they were saying that...
Yeah. All men are hoes, all women are angels. I don't know how all these hoes are fucking the same angel.
No one said all women are angels.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, so so he was saying that if you love someone enough to marry them, then what he counsels people to do, even in the case of infidelity, is to forgive.
Easy peasy.
Which of course, sent me into the stratosphere, because what? you know what I mean? So, then he explained to me that, forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to stay. You can also forgive and leave.
Word.
Which, I felt a little better about.
Actually, forgiveness is the only real closure you're ever going to get.
Well, and that was his point. But I find that I struggle with okay, y'all, I will hold a grudge. like I have a special bag that I carry around my grudges in. Like I will, I hold on to them bitches for years, okay? And it's probably not the healthiest thing.
No,
Um,
no, no.
I mean, even small grudges, like, for years, okay? And, oops, sorry, I dropped my
Damn.
microphone. But
The
when,
disrespect.
okay, when I was in third grade, a friend of mine went out with the chicken pox. And 2 weeks later, she came back to school and I avoided her like the fucking plague because I knew she had had chicken pox, right? And I didn't want no chicken pox.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were at lunch, I think she noticed that that I was avoiding her, and so she thought, she would ease my fears, and she was like, "Oh, don't worry, you can play with me. The doctor says I'm no longer contagious." So I was like, "Oh, well, if the doctor says you're no longer contagious, I'll play with you." Naturally, that night I got bumps. Okay. I blamed her for years. Matter of fact, when I went to the doctor the next day, the doctor asked me, why I thought I had chicken pox, and I told him why, because that heifer had duped me into playing with her, and now I had chicken pox. And he laughed at the time, and I thought, he was just laughing, because that's what adults do to kids. And then his very next question was, is anybody else out with the chicken pox? And I told him, yes, this other dude was out with the chicken pox. Well, knowing what I know now about the chicken pox, and, I know that it was probably the other dude that gave me the chicken pox. But for years, I blamed her. For years. I mean, on into adulthood until I took an epidemiology class and I found out that, it probably wasn't her. What was I finally able to let it go. And even then, like I still, when I talk about it, I say one of them gave me chicken pox. I don't know which, because I blamed her for so long. But anyway, so that's how long I'm willing to carry a grudge. And that is just one of the more innocuous grudges that I have.
I was gonna say, so what does that do for you?
Well, and that's the thing. That one, I mean, no harm, I mean, yeah, it was something that I chuckled about, but still, it bothered me. You know what I mean? But I chuckled about it, But
Um,
there are other
while you're on
grudges.
this self discovery, did you think of empathy any?
I'm sorry.
Like these people that you hold grudges against, did you ever take time to consider how they feel about it?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm empathic by nature. Like, if you feel bad, I feel bad. Seriously.
You
But
just
listen, but once you transgress against me, then it's different. You know what I mean? Then all that goes out the window.
but in the said case of chicken pox, it was inadvertent.
Well, I felt like it was on purpose. Like I felt like she went out of her way. I felt like she went out of her way to give me chicken pox. You know what I mean? Because I was avoiding her, so I felt like she went out of her way to give me chicken pox. When
I don't remember much about having them, but I'm pretty sure you don't contract it during the day and then have them that night.
well, yes, I know that now. Third grade me did not know that. Like I had
Right,
nothing.
right.
I didn't know about incubation periods in the third grade. I just knew that these diseases were that I could catch it from the you. So I stayed away from her until she convinced me not to, and then I had chickenpox. So in my head, she gave me chickenpox. It wasn't until later when I understood about you know all of that I knew that probably wasn't her. But all of that's to say, I didn't even have the chicken pox that bad. Like, I think I had like probably 5 bumps the whole time I had chicken pox. I gave them to my brother. He had them a whole lot worse. Um, so, but you know, whatever. My point is, I need to do better about forgiving people, because the other thing that occurred to me in the conversation that I was having with him was that all transgressions are equal to me.
All transgressions are equal, even if they're inadvertent.
No, I mean, it depends on what you mean by inadvertent. Like, if,
Somebody does something harmful to you, but that was not intended to harm you. They had no intention on harming you,
okay,
or wasn't
again,
directed at you.
it depends, because there are lots of things that are directed at me that I consider harmful, that the person who transgressed would probably argue that they didn't mean. You know how people are. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
Uh,
Which, I mean, but like, if you accidentally step on my foot, obviously, I don't. I'm not gonna hold a grudge about that. But you know, like I said, I take small transgressions to heart, and I need to stop doing that.
yeah, I just feel like, excuse me,
Lord.
I know. I don't know. Um, the older I get, I realize that that's just a lot of heaviness to walk around with on your spirit. Like some of the,
True.
um, especially some of the smaller things. Like, you know, I get it. We're human. What pisses you off is what pisses you off. And what pisses you off may not piss off another person. So that doesn't mean that you don't have a right to be ticked off or hurt or anything. Um, but I don't know. A lot of that small stuff is like no sooner than I get angry about it or ticked off about it, not too long after that, I just like let it go. But I will say, in my letting go, a lot of times, depending on the severity of it, I may choose not to deal with that person anymore, or not to deal with them as often. Um, or whatever. Because you're not about to keep you're not about to keep just hurting me.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and that's kind of been my MO. Like, and I'm not saying that, I carry these things around and I think about them every day. I mean, there are some
No.
things, somebody did something to me and I'm like, okay. And then I don't have nothing for that person ever again. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
I pretty much let it go, but I also let that person go. Like, and somebody will be like, "Oh, well, let's go see so and so," and I'm like, "No, I'd rather not." Like, I don't want to be in that person's presence. I don't want anything to do with them because of whatever offhand bullshit remark they threw at me or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that there are things that I probably should, and it's what you said, you know, the humanity of it. I need to forgive a little. I need to be a little bit better about forgiving. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
That human beings have flaws.
I was gonna say, and even if it's nothing but for the sake of your own
Peace of mind.
emotional, yeah, peace, your emotional well-being and your own peace of mind. Like, because if you forgive a person, more than likely whoever that other person is may not even know two things. Number one, exactly how upset you were with them. And number two, the fact that
Uh-oh.
you've forgiven them. So it's really
What happened?
truly for you.
I live by the rule that any and everybody can get on my nerves, upset me, piss me off, hurt my feelings at any given moment. But how long I hang on to that shit is on me, not them.
Yeah, that's yeah, yeah. I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem with forgiveness. I realize that I want to say everybody, but probably most everybody is going to do whatever they feel is in their best interest at any given moment. And a lot of the shit I'm taking personally, I probably wasn't even considered in when they were making those dumbass decisions. So I
Yeah,
let people live and let die. Like, you made your decisions, you live with the benefits and the consequences. I'm gonna do the same damn thing. I probably show more love than most people, but I ain't got the energy to be walking around mad. My love language is peace of mind. Sometimes you gotta cut motherfuckers off.
yeah. The way I look at it is that I walked the biggest grudge that I ever had was for my step granddad who molested me as a young girl. And when I tell you that I walked around with such hate, malice, whatever you want to call it, in my spirit for that man, even when I didn't think about him for months at a time, that energy still was attached to me. So I had the opportunity to go off on this man and tell him how I felt, and I did not. And then he fucked around and died. And I never got a chance to tell him how I felt.
I
Pretty much,
did learn from a psychiatrist you should never confront anybody that's done something that fucked up to you because you're not going to get the results you want. So you probably
well,
better off.
Yeah,
well,
that's true.
here's the
Because
thing about that. That psychiatrist is probably absolutely right. So I'm gonna finish this with grandfather in a minute, but I mean, and then I'm gonna give a little piece about what I had going on with my mom. So when he passed, and I felt like I had missed my opportunity, like he'll never know now. I'm like, if I can let that go because I have to, and I walked around with that affecting me for like years, like decades. You know, he went on with his life. He did things. He was happy. He didn't know how hurt I was by him, and he didn't know how much I hated him. You know, and it was at that point that I realized, you know what, this is kind of silly. You know, you gotta really learn how to let stuff go. Now, when it comes to confronting people who do fucked up shit to you, my mom. One day I got the bravery to say, okay, ma, you treated me like shit when I was a kid. Um, what you did was fucked up, blah, 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 blah. Now, mind you, I didn't tell her in that context. I didn't say it that way, but I let her know the depth of how much he hurt me as a kid. And basically her response to me um made me feel even worse. So yeah, the psychiatrist was right. Her response to me says was something like, oh well, you have to understand that my job was really miserable, and it was really hard on me, and this that and the other. And this in my mind, so fucking what, I was a goddamn kid. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
that didn't mean you come home and take your angst out on your job. I mean, from your job on me. But basically, she was not willing to accept any blame, her part or anything else, in how she made me feel and how she treated me as a kid. She basically deflected and blamed it on the job. And did I feel even more angry? Like, yeah, I did. Because all I wanted you to do was to take some kind of accountability and give a heartfelt I'm sorry. Would that have healed everything? Probably not. But it would have helped. And that explanation just made shit worse. So the therapist is absolutely right.
yeah, yeah.
The therapist also said all sins are created equal, so we didn't agree on every fucking thing.
I was getting ready to say that's some bullshit.
That's what I
Well,
said immediately. Like, there's a whole difference between being stabbed, punched, and shot. They are not all equal.
Yeah.
I agree, but I mean, biblically speaking, if that's your thing, then yes.
Then we're all
Um,
going to hell.
well, and yes, there's that. So, but yeah, but that's why I was saying, with me, like all transgressions are created equal in my mind. Like, if you say, you know, uh, one thing that pisses me off, I can be done with you, or it, depending on what it is, because there are other people who have transgressed against me for years and I haven't gotten rid of them until finally I just get tired of them and I get rid of them. So um, I have to get better at throwing people away. I do.
You want to call names?
No,
Okay.
you want me to? I mean, I'm trying to think.
Yes, but that's probably not a good idea.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm working
Keep
on
it
it.
real.
I recognize your work.
Thank you.
I do.
Thank you.
I'll be waiting on some apologies, but you take your time.
Oh
Uh-oh.
well, you'll be waiting.
Just don't learn.
Yeah, niggas don't. Anyway, um, so
Word about the word nigga that holds us back as a people.
okay.
Next
So
topic.
Remind me to get my laundry from that chink up the street.
wow,
Yeah. It's another stupid movie reference. You had
I
to be
get
there.
it.
I don't, but okay.
Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
I
Right.
remember nothing about that movie.
It's my favorite movie of all time.
I remember
It's,
very little about it.
except for I think there was a part where old boy was drinking some St. Ides.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
But
That's where I got the St. Dies thing from too, was from that movie.
ah,
Oh,
got it.
so so in that same conversation I was having about forgiveness, there was a pivot to how people couple these days and what because my friend is a counselor and what people are listing as their absolute I can't do this, and he's
Anal.
finding that more people these days are saying that if they are in one political party they could not date someone in another Bec- because it's gotten to the point where
People
Political
aren't allowed
parties
to
are
have
like
their
iPhones
individual
and
opinions.
Androids.
well no
Right.
not that but okay in the age of Trump I will say that if you are a Trump follower I can't with you. You know what I mean? I just can't with you because that is a philosophy that is counter to my being. You know what I mean? To my life. Okay, to my very liberty. So I can't with that. Prior to him, if you were well, I voted for G Dub, for instance, I'd be like, I don't get it, but okay. You know what I mean? But in the age of Trump, if you tell me that you support Trump or you voted for Trump, then that's a non-starter for me. I can't date you. Now, I had a friend who was dating a Trump supporter. Um, I'm pretty sure they ended up breaking up. Also, she was black and he was a white dude, and I just couldn't understand how that could ever, you know what I mean? Because once you're a white dude that tells me that you voted for Trump, again, that is counter to my being. That tells me a lot
About
about
you.
you and how you feel about me. You know what I mean? So I
How you
can't with
feel
that.
about a lot of shit. Like,
Well, exactly, but particularly my life and the
yeah,
value thereof.
yeah.
So I can't with you. Is what I'm saying. But yeah, how y'all feel about cross political dating?
For
I
me, go ahead.
I was gonna say before Trump, I don't know that it would have been such a big deal. Um, After him, yeah, I can see that. Not something that I ever thought about, but yeah, I can definitely see it because, like you said, you a Trump supporter. That just says a whole lot about you as a person. That is definitely against me.
Right.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe in the coming years, unless we have another idiot in the White House like him. I mean, he's not doing such a great job. Um, but he's not Trump. He's definitely
Well,
not
and
Trump.
that's my point, you know.
Um,
And that's my
but
point. Like I didn't like G Dub, but he wasn't Trump.
nah, and you know what? What's funny is I couldn't stand G Dub. Couldn't stand him. I've kind of revisited those thoughts. Like, you know what, homeboy wasn't even he was bad, but he wasn't that bad. Like,
I mean, I still can't stand him, but he wasn't Trump.
yeah, no,
I mean,
nobody is.
yeah.
Nobody is. Mussolini. Yeah, never mind. Um,
I
Wow.
was gonna say probably was Trump.
yeah, maybe. but um but yeah, no. I don't think so. Maybe in the coming years that won't be the case. Maybe that will turn around in the coming decades. But for right now, yeah. Yeah.
Clearly, I have no loyalty to either political party. Fuck
I don't
both of
either.
them.
Neither do I.
And I really wouldn't care if anyone leans more towards one or the other. But if you lean all the way to one or the other, I think you don't make rational decisions. You just go with groupthink, which is not really shit I'm attracted to. And as
Yeah.
far as Trump goes, rich
Fuck him.
people think completely on the terms of money. What can I do to get more money? And things he was doing, like promising tax cuts and such like that. A lot of people were like, oh, well, he's going to save me money. Fuck every other thing he's about because it's money over everything. So I get how they think. I just don't agree with it.
Now, see, I disagree with that premise because every other Republican is money over everything. You
Yes,
know,
but they didn't have the popularity to get that high up on the ladder.
Um,
Mm,
I mean,
They lost to a black man.
okay, but prior to that, they were doing money over it. They've been doing this money over everything for years.
Yeah.
So that is not something, but what I'm saying is if you are voting for Trump, there are, okay, and let me put it this way because I'm with you. Like both political parties have problems.
yep.
I tend to lean one way more so than the other, only because, well, that's a whole nother talk show. But I will say this. I think the thing that I didn't like so much about G Dub was the fact that his version of republicanism was hell bent on controlling women and their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that like that was offensive to me.
Mm.
Okay? When it comes to Trump, his version of republicanism is, and like you said, money over everything, but also you need to be a white male for you to really matter. We'll let some white females, get in there too, but everybody else, y'all don't really matter. Your lives don't really matter. I don't care about you, don't care any. And he was very blatant about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you then go and support that, what you're saying, how you like to me, in my mind, how you feel about me, I can't get with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how am I supposed to believe that you love me and you're gonna vote for a man who's trying to strip all of my liberties away? Like, how can I reconcile that in my head? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's impossible. And
Yeah.
and if you're telling me, oh well, because I can get some tax breaks, so then what you love then is money. You can't
Mm-hmm.
possibly love me. So
Yeah.
I can't possibly be with someone who would support him. I just couldn't.
Yeah. I think that'll change over the years, hopefully, but I can see that being an issue in dating at
Yeah.
this point. I can.
As can I. As can I. But at the same time, it's kind of sad that it has become,
Mm-hmm.
that has gotten to that. That has become so polarizing. You know, there were famous couples prior to this where one was a Democrat and one was a Republican, and they got along fine. In the age of Trump, hell, what's her name? The Conway lady. What's her name?
Kelly?
Kellyanne. I wanted to call her Chrissy because never mind.
She looks like a Christie.
I
Never
was gonna
mind.
say because she looks like a Chrissy to me, but let me stop.
Some
But
people, yeah.
yeah, Kellyanne Conway and her husband are both Republicans, and they can't get along behind Trump.
Yeah, because there's one thing about supporting your party, and then, you have an asshole who represents your party like that who is basically,
Antithetical to liberty itself.
yeah, yeah. Like,
I mean,
the
you know,
Republicans fucked up when they
well,
nominated his ass.
yeah, I mean, you gonna tear down the entire thing just to retain power, but okay,
Yeah.
it's like, what was that movie I was watching? I feel like it was a vampire movie. The one with Aaliyah. Which one was that?
Queen of the
Queen of the
Damned.
Damned, where where she had old dude and she whisked him away, and then she killed a bunch of people, and when he woke up she's like, this is our kingdom, and he's like, but it's a kingdom of corpses. Like, what I'm gonna do with that? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, that's kind
Ooh.
of what I feel about what the Republican Party did with Trump.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
gonna rule, but what are you
What are
ruling
you
in the
ruling?
end?
What do you
Yeah.
have left
What do you
to
have?
rule? Mm.
Because,
Laborers.
well, I'm not sure they have that anymore. But Anyway, so speaking of significant others, Magic, you wanted to know something about why people so concerned with
About what?
exes.
Yeah, I jacked it from a Twitter post. I would shout her out, but I don't remember her handle.
Shame.
She had said she's embarrassed at how much she looks at her current man's exes. And I was like, my natural thought was, who the fuck does that? But apparently some people do.
Huh.
I wouldn't really understand why. I mean, unless it was something truly weird, like all her exes are surfer dudes or some shit. Why would I give a fuck?
I have a friend, my Amazonian friend.
Hey,
Amazonian.
Yeah.
Andro sisters. Woo.
Hmm.
But every time every time we get on the phone, uh and I mean, and she's joking because I mean, at the end of the day, she's married to someone else, but she always talks about how her ex's wives aren't cute, like like it's a competition. It is very funny, and we laugh and we chuckle about that. But yeah,
Yo.
I think it's interesting.
Now that you mention it, in that sense, it's offensive. I started thinking about the ones my exes ended up with after me. Clearly, they ain't into handsome dudes. Hmm.
You see that star?
Oh no, I've never considered myself to be handsome. I got other features, but it's weird.
Well, I'm just saying, I censor myself. But
Let's take all the entertainment out the podcast.
mm,
Live.
whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I don't care about my exes. I mean, I just don't. The only time that it would even matter is if they brought it up. You know what I mean? Like,
What if all of them were Republicans?
sound like a personal problem. I mean, I, I, I wouldn't know because I mean, I'm not. First of all, I don't have the energy to be social media stalking people in that manner. I just don't. Um, I, my give a fuck is obviously broken uh, because I just don't. Um, I don't know. Like,
Okay, so I won't say that I've never taken a look. Um, I've not really found anything that, you know, made me really like jealous or because I'm not really that person, or insecure or anything like that. I will say I was dealing with this guy for a little while, and the woman that he chose to, let's just say, get serious about, I I didn't see that for him. Like she was basically like hood rat ish. And it's so funny. She put up this meme on her Facebook page and was like, Detroit. It said something about Detroit niggas and they women. And it was a dog wearing Cartier glasses, and it was a rat. He was kissing a rat. And I thought to myself, I know she putting up this as a joke, but like, does she realize how
I
representative
was
of
gonna
that
say there's no
the two of them are?
like no self
But
awareness.
right.
uh,
I think that's the only time I ever kind of like tripped on somebody like that, somebody I dealt with, talked to. I was just like, what?
yeah, but I mean, I think even that is different because we're talking about people that they dated after you, and I think what he's talking about are
The
people that
exes.
yeah, the exes, which
Same
it's
difference.
yeah, but it's never occurred to me to go look at somebody's exes. Like the only time I
I
would
peeped. I didn't
no,
care really
no, I
though.
didn't
But
pick. Like the only way I would know is like if they posted, something, and I saw it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that's what the ex looks like. Gotcha. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
but it's
I've run into
never.
like chicks that'll point them out, like if we run across one of them in public.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not a question of me going looking for
A
them.
whole lot of you was fucking that trash ass nigga.
Mm, well, I guess in my head, they're your ex for a reason.
yeah,
So I mean, it never occurred to me to invest a whole lot of time to go see like who they are or whatever. I mean, I don't care.
like I said, I've peeped. Not taking any extensive look at exes. I don't think I've ever done that. Um,
Shit, it was too
I
hard back in the days. All you had was them random pictures in their photo album.
right, right. Birthday
Right.
house.
Yeah.
Now you can figure out just about anything about anybody.
Yeah, if you're so motivated, which again,
Could you?
I'm not, because I just, I don't know. I, I have a hard time giving a fuck about such things.
Yeah.
And
Can't say it's never a big deal, but I know some people are kind of like insecure, and it's like sometimes people try to find things to interfere in with the relationship. Like, how could you date her? She was this, that, and the other, or you
mm,
know, uh, I don't know. People are weird.
I guess I've always been of the mind if you want to be with me, then you want to be with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's never
It
been.
doesn't matter who you were with before.
It doesn't matter who
Oh,
you were
wanna
with
be with
before.
me?
Because if you want to be with that person, then there's no amount of me checking on them or you know what I
Right.
mean,
That's
it's gonna
gonna
keep
right.
you from going back to be
Right.
with that person. So it's not worth my. I have to pick. I have so very little energy. I have to pick where I put
Pick
it,
and choose your battles.
and that yeah, and that's just not a place where I'm willing to spend energy, I guess.
Okay.
But I do know a lot of people who do.
You ever checked out X's Magic?
Nah.
No.
Nah, other than them being pointed out, I don't really give a shit. I'm fairly arrogant. Like, I don't give a fuck who you was with. You moved up now.
Right. You've upgraded. I don't give a shit.
And shout out to my exes and the funny looking motherfuckers y'all fucking now.
Mm.
Good luck with that.
There will never be another me.
Not at all. But it keeps us friends because I stay in contact with my exes just to show them how much better my life is now.
Oh. Well, I stay in contact with them just because they contact me. I mean, I don't, you know, I
That too.
I don't really be, seeking them out. But you know,
You gotta make sure ain't nobody kicked the bucket from the package or nothing.
oh well,
Uh-uh.
that was never a concern for me.
Uh-uh.
So, I mean, yeah,
The,
I don't. Yeah,
the package.
yeah, I did. Yeah, that, to the extent that I'm in contact with my exes, I'm not in contact with any of them like on a like daily basis anyway. So every now and then we say hey. you know, especially now in our, extended age. Hey, you still alive? Cool.
Right. Still breathing. Right.
Right. Show me
That's what
some
I said.
show me some pictures of your grandkid. Well, I'm not talking about no damn package.
Shit, you
I'm
getting
talking about
skinny?
no,
Fuck wrong.
I'm talking about, you know, death in general. I mean, cuz, but, show me pictures of your grandkids or your child or, what's going on with you, that kind of thing. We catch up. All right. And, holla at you again in another.
Another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, there's no need for vitriol. And yeah, I mean, it just, yeah, I don't. And that's weird to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier, because that seems like the one area where I don't hold grudges. Because like I can't think of an ex that I have a grudge against.
I'm with
I
you. Not a
can.
one of them.
Yeah,
I can.
I can't think of one of them because I feel like if they were awful boyfriends, then then they did me a solid. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like
getting it.
by getting it by moving the hell on, or or showing me who they were so that I could move the fuck on. So there's no hard feelings there.
Here's one way to look at that. That's pretty good. I like that.
But yeah, so you got people that that you've got hard feelings toward.
Only that to be honest, I'm human. So I just only to the extent that I want to show them like a big fuck you within the
Um,
next couple of years. Like like
Rent
I'm
an
happy.
airplane?
Huh?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking along the wrong lines.
Like I'm happy. Found somebody better than you.
yeah, I did have one ex that hit me up on Facebook back in the day, and I was a little mean to him. Not like overtly mean, but he hit me up in chat and
Let me
was
go
like,
feed
"Hey,
the
how you
beast.
been?" And I was like, "I'm fine. How do we know each other?"
Damn. Did you mean that?
No, I knew who he
Oh.
was. I just was fucking with him.
Evil,
Like you're meaning
evil, evil.
minuscule in my world.
Exactly. Like, and he was very offended. You don't remember me? I'm like, no, make me remember you. So, because I was trying
Damn,
to,
you even carried it on.
yeah, I wanted him to tell me why, you know, I wanted to see how far he would take it to get me to know who he was. And, he was very careful with his words. We'll say that.
Uh-uh. I used to dick you down back in the day. No, just playing.
Bitch,
No,
I'm me. I'm the goddamn reason you in VIP.
no.
CEO, you ain't got a CID.
Yeah.
I'm round and fresh like Chia Lee.
Yeah, remember the time you found out I was a hoe? Yeah, I'm that dude. No, he didn't do that. So,
Ouch.
you know, he was judicious with his descriptions of himself. I know, baby. The baby said, if you a hoe, just say you a hoe.
All right.
Why don't hoes just say they hoes?
I
Like,
don't
you know you
know.
can still fuck being honest, right?
Right,
Houdini did.
right. Aw.
Yeah. After every show.
They won.
Aw.
That was my shit. My friends did not understand why I love that song. I'm like, that bass line. Excuse
Yeah.
me. Uh,
Yeah, oh wow, I'm old. That whole album Uh, I liked not like every song on it, but it was a pretty decent. It was a pretty solid album.
That was the first record I ever got for me.
Hmm.
Was I'm a hoe?
No, the whole album.
Oh,
Because
the
I just
funk.
wanted 5 minutes of funk, but the rest,
Right.
Friends
Yeah.
and all the rest was cool.
Yeah. 5 minutes of funk was what drew me into that one. Um, trying to think what was the first record I got. I know the first 8 track I got because I'm that old. Yes.
Yeah, we did this
A
on an
track.
earlier episode. I forgot what it was though.
Told
Puff,
you was older than me.
please stop it.
Damn, 8 track.
Yeah, my dad had one in his car, and yeah, so I had Puff the
You
I
Magic.
had
was
laser
rich.
disc too, didn't you?
I didn't have laser discs. No, we were VHS people early on, but I had Puff the Magic Dragon, and I had that Heat Wave
Mm,
album,
mm,
the one with Always and
Listening to
Forever
weed
on it.
anthems.
mm.
What, Puff the Magic Dragon?
Yeah.
The magic dragon.
Listen, I was 4 years old. I thought it was about a dragon.
Honestly, at 4 years old, I knew Mary Jane by Slick Rick, by Rick James was about weed.
Well, I knew
I
that
did.
was.
Although when the Alcoholics made the same song like 15 years later, I didn't get the correlation.
I knew it was about weed, but by that time, I was like 10, so
I did.
I was worldly.
I was not. I did not know Mary Jane was about weed until I was probably almost out of my teens.
Yeah. I didn't know what Love Come Down was about until I was like 30.
Love come down.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like 30 and I was listening to that song and I was like, oh.
I remember being 20 or 20 something and listening to Pull Up to My Bumper. I think I was riding down 7 Mile in the convertible, like, like,
Yes. Right. Yeah, right. I was well into my 20s listening to Ring My Bell. You can ring my bell. And I was
Uh,
like, my parents let me listen to this?
was
Cuz
that the only one that overthought Pink Cadillac?
yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
didn't see no
I'd go
harm in
listen
that.
again.
Yeah, cuz to this day I still think it's about a pink Cadillac. So please don't destroy me.
I'd go listen
Grab the
again.
pedal and go.
What you doing in the
What?
back?
No, that just was singing Freeway of Love. I'm sorry.
I didn't even
Roll
know,
call.
like, yeah, how not worldly I was because I just said I was worldly at 10. That White Horse song, I didn't even know what that was about.
Nah, I knew that one too, but
I had no idea what that was.
yay for
I
drug
think that's
addict.
the first song that I figured out because Mojo was the one that kind of let me in on that one. I was like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
two don't know about Mojo.
I thought it was about riding a horse, and I was like, oh, I love horsies.
By the way, Mojo, Detroit icon. If you're listening to this podcast, contact us. I want to talk to you.
Okay.
It can work.
I love me some Mojo.
I'm not. Hey, I'm not from here, so I
That's
don't.
all right.
I don't have any knowledge of that, but I've heard many good things. So,
The Midnight Funk Association.
Make my funk the P funk. But yeah, Detroit's cool.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, it is. Thank you. We thank you very much.
mm,
Just take it to the stage, sucker.
Let's get it. Doo, 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 doo.
Oh, sorry.
Our
There's a
third
cardboard
co-host,
box.
Sleepy.
Who's sleepy?
Our third co-host.
Oh, well,
She's awaiting
uh, our
my
our
attention.
our canine co-host thinks that I've taken this a little too far as well because he needs me to walk him.
What in the dog?
Dog.
Did I ever say how much I hate that song?
Mm-mm.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I hear
That
you,
just
puppy.
aggravates me.
I hear you, puppy. Anyway, so let me go walk him.
If you like the show, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a hoe. And if you don't, tell everybody you know. It is the Threesome Podcast on Facebook and the Gram, the Threesome Pod on Twitter. And we out this bitch.
Peace.
Roof, roof, roof.
Um,
I don't know why I barked.
yeah, and
Because you are feeling the atomicness.
filling all the atoms.
I guess.
Why
Stay
must I be like
serious.
that? Push the button.
Oh, I was trying to get him to show her how it's
Boo.
done, but he won't. So